Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you so much for checking out another brand new episode. Today's features singer-songwriter Andrew Weber. Had a lot of fun hanging with Andrew, talking about some of his music, everything he's been working on, and we play some live acoustic tunes for you. So hope you enjoy this one. Also, big thanks for all of you listening for making 2003 a great year. I had a lot of fun recording these for you. Hope you found some new music to listen to and continue to tell friends about the show. And we'll have a lot of more fun here in 24, celebrating 10 years of Rock Paper Podcast. As always, Rock Paper Podcast is brought to you by Friendship Brewing Company in Wentzville, Missouri, serving up all your craft beer needs. Over 25 rotating taps. So they got all kinds of beverages. You got your food. You got your burgers, nachos, flatbread, pizzas, and salads, and pretzels, and all kinds of tasty eats out there, including daily specials. And you can get some great live music happening every Thursday. They kick off the weekend with Singo Bingo. This Thursday, December 28th, is Drinking Songs. So come check that out. Friday, December 29th, Josh Liddig will be out there. And on Saturday, Corey Clapper on December 30th. And you heard me talking about it, but they also recently launched a brand new location in Flint Hill, Missouri, just outside of Wentzville there, calling it Fly High. You got your Fly High Kitchen for all new dining experience out there. Same great beer, all kinds of tasty drinks, and you can see the brewing happening right in front of you. There's they got all the tanks there. It's really unique and special place out there. So come check out Fly High. And this weekend on Friday, December 29th, Robbie Bertlow will be out there. And Saturday, December 30th, Jeff Waltshauser. And if that's not even enough for you, they also opened a brand new location in Hannibal, Missouri. So if you are in the Hannibal area, come check out Friendship Brewing Company out there. And you can get some food from Sidekick Barbecue out there. You can find all this information and more at their friendshipbrewingcompany.com. And you can follow along on Facebook and Instagram for more info. And tell them Shane sent you. If you need anything from me, you can always reach me at rockpaperpodcast.com. Hit me up on the socials. Email me, rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And with that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode with Andrew Weber.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
This is Andrew Weber. You're listening to the Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with Andrew Weber. Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You do so much for the local musicians and comedians and creatives in the area. I am stoked to be on the show, and I appreciate you coming out to me.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I say it a lot doing this show, but really this is why I continue to do the show and meeting new people, singer-songwriters, people doing stuff in our community, and that's the case today, man. That's our first time getting to meet.
It is.
We've kind of been friendly just a little bit online, which is kind of funny now that we're getting to talk, and we realized we got a lot of mutual connections. We got, through, and then even connecting through small town Wentzville stuff and everything out here. So it's cool that our paths kind of aligned today for this to happen and things. But man. So I'm glad that we're here doing this, and I got to listen to some of your tunes, some of your. You also do a podcast, and we'll get into all that. But I've been listening and enjoying, and so I'm glad to be here today to share your story and get some of these. Hopefully, get some eyes and ears on everything you've been doing. So I think let's being that this is our first time starting at the beginning, I think would be appropriate, and kind of get a little bit of your story growing up here. I'm guessing is O'Fallon area. All this has always been home for you.
O'Fallon is the hometown. Yeah, born in St. Peters, but lived in O'Fallon since I was in first grade. So, yeah. I was always a baseball kid, athlete growing up, and my parents wanted me to get into a lot of different activities. So guitar lessons was one of those things. When I was 11, I took about a year or so of lessons from a man named Chris McCullum, who played in a band for a long time locally. I think he went on a little bit of a tour as well. But I just took lessons from him for about a year or so. But my heart was in baseball. That was my first love, I like to say. So guitar and music wasn't my main focus. I liked listening to it, but I wasn't interested in playing it until I figured out, that girls were interested in it. So, so I learned on the electric guitar, actually. And that's just how I learned how to play. I learned reading tab. And so put the electric guitar away, picked the baseball bat and the glove up, and did that all the way up through high school, played at a high level around here. And then right as high school was wrapping up, I got gifted an acoustic guitar. My uncle runs a shop locally, and he gifted me this guitar, and I started doing cover songs, just strumming and started singing and stuff. And the story continues from there. We went to the same high school, Timberland, out in Wentzville. They do a male pageant there called Mr. THS, and that was my very first live performance playing music ever, and it ended up winning me that talent portion that I played. It ended up winning me the pageant. So what song did you play there? Oh, gosh, I played like a medley. One of them was a Brantley Gilbert song that I can't remember. But the main one that I do remember was Green Day's Good Riddance. Because it was senior year, we're going out the door. Good Riddance. It's a classic song. That was like our. It was kind of new at the time, but it was like our 8th grade graduation song kind of thing. Yeah. Graduate, or I was like 97, 98. I think was my 8th grade year. Yeah, that sounds about right. So it was pretty new. It's still newer at the time, but yeah, great tune though for sure. Oh yeah. Maybe let's see, Brantley. Would that be? I don't know. Read Me My Rights. No, I wish it was that. I honestly can't remember. I mean, my memory is horrible to start with, but Good Riddance was the one that made people stand. I got a story for you later about Read Me My Rights. So remind me. All right, I'll remind you. I love that song. I'll just tell you because he'll be mad if I don't say it on the show. But my buddy Matt Bosler got pretty famous on TikTok for that song. Was like doing did a cover, was dancing to the song, just the Brantley version of the song. Right. There was like a trend of these like tough country guys dancing to that song.
So he was making fun of that and like continued to do it every video. So every single video he would just do it in different places, and it was just like that, little snippet, the same snippet every time. And then they took it down, and so he went and recorded his own version of the song, like as a country song. I think originally as a country song, and then he recorded it as a synth cover. Did a whole EP of synth cover songs of country, like these tough guy country songs. So there's a lot of layers to the joke, but he's continued to do this song, and I'll have to show you some of those videos. But
I need to see that.
Be sure to check out Matt F. Bosler on your TikTok and,
all right.
Or Instagram, and hi Matt.
Yeah, shout out Matt. I'm gonna look you up.
Yeah. So I think at one time him and Brantley were in contact about doing something together, but I don't think then it didn't happen. But I think so Brantley's aware of what he's doing. Though,
That's funny.
So it makes me laugh that thinking about Brantley watching his videos makes me laugh. So, but anyway, so Mr. THS, you said you won.
Yeah, I ended up winning. I guess because of the talent portion, I don't think I'm the prettiest guy, but so when I won that competition, I was kind of phasing out of my baseball career. I was thinking about playing in college somewhere small, but I have a sight condition called amblyopia. So in my right eye, I can't focus, I can't read. It's all just extra peripheral vision. So my baseball career outlook wasn't very good, but it was my first love, and it was hard to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the whole reason I'm pursuing a career in music is this story I'm about to tell you. I was playing my last travel tournament down in Jackson, Tennessee. And so last tournament being, I'm not thinking about playing in college at all. And the tournament ends up getting rained out, long story short. Well, we were at the fields warming up for the first game when it got delayed. And the games got canceled for that day, so we went back to our hotel, and where you can pull up and unload your luggage with the overhang, in that spot I found a heads-up penny. So I took it as like good luck that we're going to get the games in. I was going to play, my last expected game. Ends up all the games get canceled. So the team goes out to dinner the next day, and we come back to the hotel, and in that same spot under the overhang, I found a guitar pick. Like just shortly after I win this pageant, it's a new hobby of mine. Baseball had always been my first love. I wanted to do something with that, whether it be coaching. My high hopes wanted me to be a professional player, but that wasn't in the cards. And so now this new hobby comes up, and I find a heads-up penny and a guitar pick. I tell my family about it, and they say, "What year's the penny?" I look at the year on the penny as my birth year. So that for me was like, okay, baseball's done and gone. You learned how to work hard. You learned work ethic. You learned a little bit of leadership. You learned how to control your emotions a little bit. This is going to be the next thing. So from that moment, I worked on getting better at playing and singing. Eventually I started writing my own songs, and continued to build on that process to get to where I'm at today. And in the other room over there on my desk in my little one-bedroom apartment studio, I have the penny and the pick that I found framed. And it's on my guitar strap. I'll probably get it tattooed on me sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, man. That's a cool story, though. Like, it's kind of wild to think about, like a pivotal moment like that, where that kind of changed your trajectory. How your outlook on things, and then you've now spun it into this music career, doing really well for yourself. And but yeah, it's a tough thing, I think. Like, kind of getting over the idea that you're not going to go pro.
Big time,
like
yeah.
I so much of that I really relate to a lot. Like, who knows? I know the odds are stacked against us all. It's a very slim, number of people that actually get there to pro. But when I was young, like it was basketball and football, and I played both a lot. Like probably basketball more, just because you could play 1-on-1 or whatever. We would pick up games and everything. It was a lot harder to get a football game together. So, but I mean, we hooped all the time. My buddy Sean was really, way better than I was, but he was like the one that like pushed, like let's go. We in our summers in high school, like there was these guys. I guess I think they like most of them like worked at like GM or something like that. They had like and they were doing pickup games like just for exercising them in the morning at like 6 o'clock, like 6 to 8 or whatever before their shift. And so we started going up there on like in our summers, like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays or something like that. And I'm like, it's our summer vacation, and he's getting me up at 6 o'clock to go, play basketball, running full court games and stuff, and I'm like,
that's training.
Right. So, I mean, like it's one of those things like then when the alarm goes off, you're like, oh my God, what do we do? And then like we get there and like, you're so glad you did it after you did it. But, it's like the whole, just getting there, dragging, still dark out and cold and everything else. But,
yeah. So
I do remember those days, and like I played a ton, and, unfortunately, it wasn't really for, ended up not working out for me for a lot of reasons. I grew like 4 inches in a month during like my 8th grade year, and I started having a lot of like knee trouble, just kind of growing into my body. And then that kind of put a damper on. I ended up quitting football in my sophomore year. And then when after that, the same time, my parents also divorced. I got my license. I started working full time to pay for the car and the gas and everything. And
yeah.
And then, just went from there. Like it just, I wish I kind of would have stuck with it and gone back, but it got to the point where, the other things took priority. I saw some guys that did get scholarships that I thought I could compete with. And, it makes me think that would have been nice to get some free college out of it and stuff and all these things. But, it just didn't pan out. But so I still enjoy playing every now and then when I can and things. Yeah. And I still, but, it's just one of those things like that was my life, for a long time. I grew up in the era of, Jordan, Pippen and the Bulls run and everything. So it was like,
right.
That was like, we were glued to the TV watching those Bulls games and stuff. And during that dynasty run and stuff. And like, so like that was life at the time. And so,
yeah. And when the realization hits you hard that it's not going to be part of your life anymore, right. It's like almost losing a loved one, I would say, at least for me it was. I had such a deep connection to the sport,
right. Yeah. But like I say, being able to pivot and find that, something else to apply that same energy, be creative. And so I think it's cool that you found that guitar and songwriting and music was that avenue for you afterwards. A lot of guys, struggle some with that thing, whatever it might be, but, I'm glad you found a passion in music.
Oh yeah.
So what, so you're, I guess, continued with the cover tunes for a little while, learning some, the standard bar chords and stuff, like kind of learning your chops on guitar. And
yep, and I'm still learning my chops on guitar. I basically know how to strum, and sometimes I get creative and make something sound cool, but I couldn't tell you exactly what's happening. Yeah. And the more I get around, local guys, because I'm still pretty new to this area and this scene, and the more I get around local guys, I just continue to realize how much more I have to learn on the guitar. Sure. And that, honestly, it seems like a big mountain to climb at first, but that's kind of what motivates me to continue to get better at being a songwriter and playing live and things like that. I feel like the ceiling is endless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I I think that's healthy. I think that's, I mean, I think you should apply that to almost anything in life, that you're never be satisfied, always like looking to improve as a human, as you know, at whatever you're doing at your job, there's always room to improve and grow. And, you know, I think too many people have an attitude that they know it all, and they don't. And like, so I always be receptive to learn and whatever, you know, listen and take notes from everybody. That's what I mean. That's how I've been doing it. And I like to, it's fun doing this podcast and like learning from some of the greats. You know, early on I got to, I mean, I still continue, but getting to meet some radio legends, and they were very cool and receptive to help me and support this. You know, even though this is not radio, but it's a form of it.
It's similar.
Yeah. And so, you know, guys like Radio Rich Dalton or Learn, who's, you know, was at Casey at the time, but now she's with Rizzuto Show at the Point. You know, so get people like that, like, you know, been making a career out of being on the radio, and then allowing, you know, me to do this thing and stuff like that. It's just like getting those kind of things like that, you know, nods and learning from some of the people that are doing it at a higher level than you. Is always cool, you know, to like, you know, makes you feel like you're doing something right. Yeah. And then allowing yourself to like take notes from all these people and making it your own thing. Like, so I think that's a good thing for you as a young songwriter. You know, you go out and you see some of these people, and you kind of pick like, hey, I like that way he's doing that, or the way, you know, this kind of thing. And then until you find out this is what Andrew Weber's going to sound like, this is, you know, you kind of find your own identity in the sense. So
right. This is just a funny side note. One of the you know, stage presence tricks that I've learned. I watched Jimmy Richards. He always lifts his guitar up when he's playing. So I started doing a little bit of that when I'm playing live. But just watching local guys, just learn how they perform and learn how to build a stage presence. There's always something to learn, even from people that have less experience than you. They might bring something to the table just because they're naturally doing that. And you think, oh, that's cool. How can I apply it to what I'm doing?
Sure.
There's always something to learn from.
Yeah, man. Well, we've been talking a lot. Let's play a tune, give everybody an idea of what you've been up to. So this, speaking of your music, songwriting is, well, I mean, what are we talking? Like you said, 18, 19 or something like that?
Started in 2019.
2019?
Yeah, putting pen to paper.
And that's when you were like, so before that, you weren't writing really anything, like in high school or whatever. It was just like,
I liked writing papers.
Yeah.
Never really put any time into working on it, but I just liked the concept of being creative.
So then the time comes, you're like, I want to start doing my own original songs, put my own thoughts out there,
and what helped was a heartbreak.
Yeah, that'll do it, man.
Oh yeah.
I you know, I'm not the only one to notice it, but either heartbreak or falling in love, man. That's like, you know, some of the best songs come from that, you know, heightened state of emotions and stuff. So, so started writing. So I mean, you know, in a couple of years, you've already got a lot of songs out there. And let's talk about, I guess, the first one, was the first one The Battle? As far as what we played today, is that the oldest song?
Oh, yeah, that's the oldest song that I played for you today. Right. Yeah,
we'll start with that one then. Tell me about The Battle. What comes to mind? I mean, obviously this is one that's very important to you and your story, and just from following along on your journey so far. But what would you like to tell us about The Battle?
Man, this song, I wrote this in my childhood home, and it's a metaphorical song about life, essentially, the battle of life. The podcast that I run talks about personal development and facing fears, facing, hard times. Just life is a battle, and everyone's got some sort of struggle that they experience. Well, in the song I talk about a jackal, and that jackal to me represents that struggle. And I'm a Christian faithful guy, so for me and my perception of life, it also represents the devil. And you always have to beware of those, dark temptations that might come into you and hinder what you're working towards. And you got to stay on the path. So that's what this song is about. And I also write about societal issues that I see in today's world, and I put that in the song. Hard-working man deserves a helping hand every now and then, and a good-hearted woman deserves some love when she can't take no more than bend. There's too many stressors in this life, are you gonna make it to the end? Put your nose to the stone even when you're home, and then do it all again. Getting tired of this drive called life, but don't you take the wheel from my hand. I keep pushing, but the pressure's getting high, I keep sinking in the sand. A successful life is a sharp old knife, it only fits a certain type of man. It's taking tolls on so many souls, climbing up the ladder once again. I keep wishing I was fishing on the riverbank, running water underneath the sun. I keep looking over my shoulder, guess I'm searching for someone. It's my long, long soul, nowhere to go, and a jackal hiding in the shrub. With a surgeon's knife looking at my life and welcome me to the club. Instead of turning around, I throw my pole to the ground. I rip the mossy oak from my side, take the jackal to the ground in this knockout round, part of the battle that I call life. Yeah, that's the battle that I call life. The hunger fight, killers in the night, and soldiers that don't come home. Politicians lie, sticks and stones do fly, but are we willing to draw the line? People say we're on the line, but when the situation's right, they choose to let it go. These hypocritical rights are on the fighting side, Lord, please redeem my soul. Keep wishing I was fishing on the riverbank, running water underneath the sun. I keep looking over my shoulder, guess I'm searching for someone. It's my long lost soul, nowhere to go, and a jackal hiding in the shrub. With a surgeon's knife looking at my life and welcome me to the club. Instead of turning around, I throw my pole to the ground. I rip the mossy oak from my side, take the jackal to the ground in this knockout round, part of the battle that I call life. Yeah, that's the battle that I call life. I feel like not very many people have the ability to put words to music, and there's things that I see that maybe other people don't notice, and I just want to bring that to the table. And so it's an important concept to me. And actually, a week from today, I'm getting I have a whole shoulder piece right now, a tattoo. Starting next Tuesday, I'm going to get the whole arm done, talking about the battle of life. So it's deeply important to me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think I like that. Like you say, like you have your interpretation, obviously, that writing it, but it is open enough to everybody's going through a battle, whatever it might be, through addiction or whatever, you can apply this to many stories and whatever that.
Man, it's funny that you say addiction. I am in my 14th day of sobriety.
Yeah.
My next podcast episode, the same day I'm starting this tattoo, is all about my battle with substance abuse and addiction. I think a lot of people go through that, and it's a lonely journey. So it's something I'm passionate about too. It's just funny that you said that.
Well, it's I have my own struggles with probably an unhealthy relationship with food.
Been there as well. I have.
Just something I struggle, growing up, it's always like I hear other people talk about it too, we eat to celebrate and we eat when we're sad, and it's like all these unhealthy things that are like reasons to eat and food and stuff. We don't think I wasn't really taught to think of it as nutritional value as much as like it's as a coping thing or something like that. It's like, and so that's kind of the part of the thing too. Is like, but I think about it, as far as addiction wise, my little brother, he's actually, I think January he'll be approaching on his 1 year of sobriety from alcohol, and I'm really proud of him and what he's been able to the changes he's made in his life and through it, and so I'm not on my own journey there, but I'm a part of it with my brother. So
yeah, it's a tough journey too.
Sure, yeah, but yeah, he, I'm not. He can share his own story, but he's been doing really well with it, and he's made, like I said, it's cool to see. He's found faith in it also after getting sober. He started going to church, and he's made some major changes in his life, and it's it makes me really happy for him, and proud to be his brother. So
that's great. Yeah. I'm proud of him too. I've never even met him. Yeah. You talking about that just gives me chills, man, because a lot of people that go through addiction are led to faith. That's part of the 12 steps, and just really cool to talk about, I think.
Yeah. It was nice to, so it's a newer thing for me. I started with him going to church. He invited me to start going with him, and I've been a few different times now. It's hard for me to make work every week, but I've been going, and I enjoy the service and the songs, and music's a big part of their church there, and so that's helpful for me, as far as not really being as familiar with the church and stuff, at least coming in and having a lot of live music. That's one of my favorite things. So
yeah.
But I've been really enjoying the messages, and the pastors at the church do a really great job with everything. And but you've been open. I mean, I've been listening to your podcast, The Battle, which you can find on all your streaming platforms, and you can watch the video on YouTube. And but you did like a 2-part episode about faith recently, and opening up about it for you. But I think especially it's not like there's other people that are, but like it seems like country music's really opened up to like, especially guys like Jelly Roll right now, all over the charts. Like, you know, open about it. And like, I only talk to God when I need a favor and stuff. You know, it's
Yeah.
like,
Brantley Gilbert is too. We talked about him already.
Yeah, a lot of these guys are open about their faith, and you know, so I think it's good for that. You know, like being connecting another way with a fan base and stuff. So, but I guess has always been a big part of your life, or
I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
When I went off to, I guess, starting in high school, and when I went off to college, I found alcohol, and man, I don't think I'm ready to talk about the things that I ended up experiencing, but just was trying to run away from my own head. You know, that's what addiction is about, and just got into some tough situations personally, you know, fighting and doing all sorts of things, and ended up places that I shouldn't have been, and it took a long time for me to realize that I had an issue, you know, which is why, you know, this is my second week of sobriety. It's just a long, hard road, and you need help, and people around you that you can look to for support and that can help assist you in the process too. That's something that I ignored for a long time too. And I want to be open about it because I feel like there's a lot of people struggling today with some type of coping addiction. And it's a quick fix, but it can lead you down a spiral pretty quick and for a long time too, potentially. So with my ability to speak publicly and write songs about it, I just think it's something I'm meant to be talking about, you know?
Yeah, man. I think I saw a really good video about it too a while back. And, you know, it's giving yourself grace to, you know, you obviously it's important to stay sober for you. But if the chance happened that you slipped, people go in the spiral, like you're saying, like, and instead of being like, I have to start all over, he's like, he showed like, you know, I took 20 steps today, you know, that's 20 days sober. I'm still here on day 20. I don't need to go back to 0.
Right.
I stand up and I keep going on the path. And so I don't know, seeing him act, you know, physically walk it out and showing how he, you know, it's like it made a lot of sense that, you know, and I think so many people like do beat themselves up for, you know, and a moment of vulnerability and stuff, and then they don't, you know, it's like, but you got to give yourself grace that you are human still, and like, you know, we all have, you know, mistakes, but you know, I think it's like I said, it's day by day, it's a process, you know, it's like every day you got to choose, this is the life I want to be, sober and making these changes. Yeah. Actively pursuing that. So
yeah, after the pod, I would love to be connected with your brother, because I'm working on getting into communities with people who have similar struggles to me. You know, I'm looking for a good recovery program to join, just to get into that community, because I don't want to get too deep into it, but I feel like a lot of people, it's hard for them to understand if they haven't experienced it or seen it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not one to be really talking a lot about it, because I'm not into that world, but I could just kind of share my perspective on it. But you know, I admire you making the steps, man, to improve yourself, to make these changes in your life, and so if you need a sober friend, you can always call on me too. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But let's talk about, you know, mentioning some of your faith and things, and that you did write and record a song. It kind of leans into that a little bit, and you said online that this is one that's been doing really well for you. Got nice, been getting some nice attention, and this is called "The Righteous Way to Go," right?
Yes, sir. I fall into temptation, and it tattered my soul. I lost a few good women that wouldn't walk with me on an unmarked, muddy and cold, led by the devil's stroke. So now I'm asking for forgiveness that I don't deserve. I bow my head and I spill these words. Please take my sin and all the pain that comes with it. Show me the light, lead me towards a righteous way to go. 'Cause with me there's pain and guilt, I hope. I'm not at my worst, but still I'm way down low. I lost track of the war, even with these scars I hold. Another lost battle, but with it my strength will grow. So now I'm asking for forgiveness that I don't deserve. I bow my head and I spill these words. Please take my sin and all the pain that comes with it. Show me the light, lead me towards a righteous way to go. Show me the light, lead me towards a righteous way to go.
What comes to mind around this tune? What are you thinking about?
Man, I can't remember when I wrote this song, which is unfortunate. But looking back, I mean, I've been just low in my life, and I have always, turned to prayer and talking to God. And I assume that when I wrote this song, I was feeling low, and that's just where I turned. And I wish I could tell you, honestly, when I wrote it and where I was, but I have no idea. But I released that song and pitched it to some independent playlisters just through social media. And this is a good learning point that I think a lot of independent artists should hear. You've got more control on who listens to your music than you think. You just get connected with the right people, and social media is a huge tool. And they can put you on some cool playlists. But that's a side note. This song is just honestly asking for God to show me where the path is and how to get back on it. And I'm getting chills, but I feel like I'm here now. I'm on that path, and I'm here to make a difference. And it's all through the Word of God. I'm just a vessel.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, man. That sound. I feel like that at time. Like, it's easy to get being a creative and doing these things, and especially somebody that struggles at times with some mental health things. It's easy to get down on yourself, like, why am I doing this? What am I doing this for? Like, all these things, negative thoughts start running through your head, and then you get these moments along the way that reassure you that you are doing the right thing, and you're that you are on that right path. And then you continue to chase that rush, that high.
Yeah.
This is why I'm here. This is why I want that feeling all the time. I want that those feeling of a group of crowd singing my songs back to me, or whatever it might be, these things like that. Like, and keep chasing that feeling, man. So
what's weird is that for me, like a lot of people look at artists and say, oh, they must love being on stage. Man, I can't stand being on stage.
Right.
I get so nervous every time. Once I catch my groove, it's cool, but I don't chase that stage presence. I chase more of people connecting with my song. That's just how I come from it as a songwriter. That's when I get the most fulfilled, is when I finish a song. If it's a really good one, I'll get chills, and that's kind of my reminder that I'm on the path doing the right thing. But it's different for every artist, every songwriter,
right? Yeah, man. So we got a bunch of these tunes out there, including these two that we played. You got like some demo versions of them that exist up on the social or the streaming platforms, and you can follow along with Andrew Weber there and be alerted when we get some new ones coming soon and stuff. And you can also be sure to join in socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. All those are good platforms to get plugged in and keep an eye on what you're up to. Locally, we have a show coming up here, closing out the year. Out here in the St. Charles County area, you will be playing at STL Throwdowns on December 30th. And it'll just be an evening, you and your guitar, right? And
Yep, just me, acoustic set. I believe it's 9 to 12 that night.
Do you are you doing a good mix of original and cover, or?
I do majority covers. I try to get anywhere from 4 to, depending on the night, 10 originals in there. I play them when I can, but I got to keep the crowd happy too,
Yeah. What I've been trying to when I watch some of my friends play, I'll notice them like they'll get the crowd going. They played a couple of tunes that they're familiar with, and the crowd, maybe they'll have some people up dancing even, or whatever, into digging what they're doing, and then they'll say, "This next one's an original." And I'll watch people like, "Okay, I'm gonna go get a drink," and and that kind of thing. And I was like, quit telling them that these are originals. Like,
keep it a secret till the end.
Yeah, wait afterwards. Be like, yeah, that one's by I wrote that one. And if you know your songs well enough, you can mix them in with other songs that sound like they belong.
Right.
And I feel like, but so many people, it's not the knock to them as the performer. It's a knock to the fans, or people at these bars. Like, they just. Some people, it depends on the room. I should be fair about that too. Some rooms are receptive to it. They want more originals.
Yep.
But your typical Friday night bar crowd, they want to hear the songs they know.
Yep.
They want to sing along. They want to, that kind of thing. So, I just feel like so many, once they hear this originals, they kind of just tune out.
Yep. It's break time.
Or, but and that's what it's like. It's not just that scene. It's the same. I saw, it's going back several years, but I remember seeing Tom Petty, and he played, the guy was hit after hit. He's got an incredible catalog of songs. And then he goes, all right, we'll play a couple of new ones. And then you watch the entire lawn stand up and go to the, all right, this is our pee break and get a beer. And it's like, even a great Tom Petty walked the whole room to, for kind of thing. It just seemed like, and then it was, but I felt like for him, it was almost like a nod, here's your opportunity. If you're looking for your cue to, take a break, you can come, and then we're going to close it out strong after this. But it just made me laugh thinking about but I do wish more people, or especially, young songwriters like yourself, were more receptive to hearing some of these originals, because I think if they give them a chance, they would enjoy them. But so many people are kind of closed-minded in that sense. They want
kind of people. A lot of people say there are people who quit listening to music after high school. Like they only like the songs that they, grew up with, and like that's about it. Like
Yeah, and I don't know if part of that is life takes over, and they just don't have the space to really care about new stuff anymore. I think that could be a big part of it. People are out there just doing their best to make a living, and that takes a lot of time and effort and hard work, and you don't necessarily want to go out and find new creatives, you know? And a lot of those old songs that you hear in high school connect with such big moments in your life. Like, that's it,
But I'm the one, I mean, not the one, but I like going and hearing something new. Like I do love my 90s on 9 on my Sirius and stuff. I like, all the old songs I grew up with and things, but also, just as much I enjoy discovering brand new music. I enjoy, discovering an artist that has a couple records that I haven't heard and new artists that I like, and just going down the rabbit hole of their catalog and stuff, and so those kind of things are just as equally fun for me than singing along with a song I've heard hundreds of times and stuff. So
I love that. I prefer the new stuff over the sing-alongs, but I'm a different type.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But I'm like you, I imagine. I mean, I think we're very similar in a sense that we enjoy storytelling. So that was kind of fun for me to hear in your songwriting as you're approaching, like really honing your craft and and actually telling these stories throughout your songs and stuff, which I'd really admire. Like I said, that's some of my favorite stuff. Putting myself in moments of their story, this guy's telling my story too, or something like that. Like those kind of things I enjoy, and connecting to an artist that way.
Yeah.
And you, one of them we did on here, which I feel like is a good kind of more storytelling in a sense, is your current single right now called Neanderthal.
Oh, yeah.
And this kind of, like I said, kind of got the longer verses and stuff, kind of stretched it out a little bit, and getting a lot of words in this one, getting the story out there. But I really a great song, and I really enjoyed hearing your live acoustic version here today. And what are you thinking? What comes to mind around Neanderthal word?
So Neanderthal, it's actually, I wrote it about a dream that I had. I had this dream that I was in some Native American tribe, and me and one other person, I don't have any facial recognition, but this is from a dream. We were being chased by something, running over hills, and so that's where the concept came from. But once you go back and look at the lyrics, outside of your dreams, it applies to people who have old souls. That's what the song's about. Some say I'm a Neanderthal, and I feel like I just have an old soul. I like to work hard. I like the struggle, and I like building things. And I feel like that's not as common in society today. So I call myself an old soul.
Yeah, all right.
To my tribe, knee deep on a muddy hill. Watch out for the landslides, you can get buried there in the sill. Make it to the top, you'll find a lake and a river running full of gill. Nothing to show, you can't go home, love will keep you running through the field. Well, some say I'm a Neanderthal, I went extinct a long time ago. I take pride over money, but I ain't got much to show. Well, this is where I'm gonna gonna take my stance. I'm gonna tell you I sold my soul. But I swear I clawed my way up there to the top of that old plateau. Oh. Yeah. I had a dream last night, it was me out on a plane. I told myself keep running, boy, but in my feet I could feel the pain. The enemy's gonna hunt you down, it don't matter, no sign of rain. But that's just the price you pay for playing a Ramblers game. 'Cause some say I'm a Neanderthal, I went extinct a long time ago. I take pride over money, but I ain't got much to show. Yeah, this is where I'm gonna take my stance. I'm gonna tell you I sold my soul. But I swear I clawed my way up there to the top of that old plateau. Oh, yeah. Tribe knee deep on a muddy hill. Watch out for the landslides, you can get buried there in the sill. Make it to the top, you'll find a lake and a river running full and gill.
Do you find yourself writing that way a lot? Like, do you wake up and just like start putting pen to paper, like out of a dream or anything like that? Like,
only a handful of times. It just so happens that this project I'm working on, and this single Neanderthal is part of it. It's 40 songs, and it just so happens that a good chunk of those songs, I mean, not like 20 of them, but I'd say probably 5 or so do come from dreams. So every now and then it'll happen, but not very often.
Yeah. I heard a wild story about I think it was Neil Young. I think for sure it was on a Howard Stern appearance or something, and he was talking about he had this like crazy fever going on, and he was like laid up in the hospital bed, and he requested a notepad and just started writing, like scribble, he didn't like, and then again, had no idea what makes sense of any of this, and then the fever breaks, he was able to analyze what he was scribbling on here, and I guess like out of that like came like Cinnamon Girl and like a bunch of the big songs for him, and it's just like it just really like fascinated me, like the idea that you never really know where like this inspiration's gonna hit. Mm-hmm. It could be a dream, could be somebody says. I feel like, and I haven't been able to apply to myself or anything. I'm not a songwriter, but I admire, and I say it a lot on this show that I wish that's something I want to do. Like it's kind of a bucket list thing for me, I guess someday, like to write a song and have somebody help me record it, or kind of thing. I don't see myself singing it, but it'd be fun to say I wrote this song. And
we can get that done.
Well, yeah, I've got enough talented friends around me. I just kind of hold myself accountable and actually get do it. But I do want to, it's something I think about a lot. But I feel like what I was getting at is I feel like sometimes like old men just like speak in hooks of songs. Like they'll say some line, whatever it is, and I I noticed you have a song kind of triggered that idea. You have a song on what your whistle, and it's something stuff like that. Like, you know, you hear like that line. It's something a throwaway line for this guy and telling a story or whatever. I wet my whistle. You know, like when you're like, wait a second, that's a hook in a song right there. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
You know, those kind of things. Like I feel like they don't even think about it, but then all of a sudden, if you're listening, especially as a songwriter, that's what you do. You are watching and listening, and you know, and you're like, hey, wait a second, there's something here. So,
Right.
I think that stuff's like, you just never know where that inspiration is going to find you someday. So,
That's honestly kind of one of the things that, I mean, I'm sure this excites every songwriter, but for me, that excites me as a songwriter because I could go to the gym tomorrow and just have a conversation with someone and get a spark idea, and I don't even have to live the story. I can build one off of what we talked about.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You can change the characters and the, you know, narrative and whatever you got to do, but you can create. You know, it's just never know where that one line that might help spark the idea. So. Yeah, I think it's fun, man. I like I said, I enjoy listening a lot, and I feel like that's kind of, you know, maybe that's my role. I feel like there's always there's a lot of songwriters out there, but you know, it's like being a fan is also important. You know, it's got to be somebody to listen to these songs. So
Yeah.
you know, but I do think about it a lot. That it'd be fun to get creative someday and do that, but. So we'll see. I'll let you know when I get there.
Yeah, I like it. It's all about opening up and honestly letting your barriers down in the moment.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. You all right, we got one more we wanted to share. These are all live acoustic here on the living room couch. We're had a fun little hang, and I thought these turned out real nice, and so if you want to listen to some more, we got some plenty more out there, but and we hopefully we'll get into what you're up to coming up here and stuff. But this is one that might be on that project or something, maybe.
Yeah, I think this is going to be potentially my next single.
Yeah.
I'm still working out the kinks. I got to get a copy written and all that, but it's a cool, fun one that is pretty bluesy, and I don't think there's very much out there that necessarily sounds like it, especially the demo recording that I am planning on releasing.
Yeah, and this is titled In the Name.
Yes, sir. I'm from the swamp in my head, that black muddy water I've been waiting in, that black muddy water make you wanna be dead. Yeah. Well, I wanna go down to Louisiana, put my feet in the swamp. You complimented my ass, but your friend was down bad and I wanted her more. I learned that shit moves fast, you're better off with the grass and not alcohol. It's through your looking glass, your life is good or bad, you better laugh more. And I ain't never been ashamed of nothing more than what I was before. I caught back and took aim and left that pistol lying on the floor. Nobody knows my name in that town, nobody knows who they're looking for. Yeah, I'm staking my claim in the name of the good Lord. Lord. Well, have you ever heard or seen anything about me in the tabloids? I don't run with the good ones and I don't run with the bad boys. I keep to myself, don't ever run my lip unless you ask for it. I think one time my best friend was a hot as hell crack whore. What? And And I ain't never been ashamed of nothing more than what I was before. I cocked back and took aim and left that pistol lying on the floor. Nobody knows my name in that town, nobody knows who they're looking for. Yeah, I'm staking my claim in the name of the good Lord. Well, this chair's the coldest thing I felt with all that on the floor. Is your room spinning, reaching my living limb is what I'm in for. Come on. Now I ain't never been ashamed of nothing more than what I was before. I got back and took aim and left that pistol lying on the floor. Nobody knows my name in that town, nobody knows who they're looking for. Well, I'm staking my claim in the name of the good Lord.
I'm a huge fan of some bluesy slide guitar stuff. Dwayne Allman Brothers stuff. Like he's one of the greats to do, and some of those licks that he played like were iconic, and that kind of stuff. Like I grew up on a lot of bluesy influenced Southern rock stuff, ZZ Top, Skynyrd, and all that. A lot of was on heavy rotation in our house growing up. So this is right up my alley. This is right, was it similar for you as a kid, or?
I love slide guitar.
Yeah.
I love Delta blues music. My family would have yearly reunions down in Orange Beach, Alabama, which is, I think, where I potentially got that influence from, the blues music. But
we just went down there for our anniversary in September. It was our first time visiting.
Man, I love that place. I haven't been there in probably 7 or 8 years, and I cannot wait to go back. I would love to live there full time one day. And I'm assuming that's where the blues influence comes from for me, but I grew up with a cell phone, so I could have found it wherever. I couldn't tell you where I got it.
Yeah. I do think that stuff's, I was thinking about your, being of a younger generation, like growing up, pretty much having the internet your whole life and everything. Like, I'm seeing like just this, just recently, kind of going back to Tom Petty too. They released the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer. It features a Tom Petty song, and apparently a lot of people are just discovering this song. I can't even remember the name of the song right now, but so I read an article that like the numbers are like jumped up tremendously, like for his streaming because of it and everything. So people are just, there's a whole new generation of younger people that are not as familiar with Tom Petty. Same thing happened with Metallica and Stranger Things. And so, like people are discovering through these different platforms and shows and whatever, and they're like, discovering great new music. So you never know where you might find something. Hey, that sounds cool,
Right.
And it's like I said, to be able to have and then like, oh, I want to find out everything about Metallica or everything about Delta Blues or whatever, and you have that ability. Before it was like, obviously wasn't as easy. So,
Right.
But it's cool that people are continuing to rediscover music from years and years ago.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you liked the slide guitar. That was a spur of the moment decision, and I was telling you before we recorded that I was nervous to play it, and I'm glad you like it. So I appreciate the kind words. Yeah,
man. Yeah, hopefully we can get a little bit more of that coming up and stuff. Hopefully, you feel a little more comfortable doing that live and at your gigs and stuff. So
yeah, I'll find a way to work it in.
What? So you said you're working on some of these songs and things might be on a new project. Is that what you were saying earlier?
Yeah, so I'm working on a 40-song project. It relates to the battle, and the title of the project is going to be called The River, because it's the river of life, and that's where the battle takes place. And it's just a whole concept of where I've been. It's a lot of the songs sound pretty dark. That's kind of my style, because I've been to those dark spots, not only physically, but majority mentally. I've been in more mental darkness than I have physical darkness, if I'm being honest. But I've seen both sides of it, and towards the end of the concept album, it's 40 songs. I like to think of it as you're walking through my experience with faith. You walk with me through my experience in quote unquote hell, and then at the very end we get to heaven. And at the end of this project, it's going to be, my plan is to write more like fun sing-along type songs, songs that people, more traditional type songs. This project is going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but as a songwriter, as an artist, that's kind of what I want. I want something different.
Yeah. And when do you have a goal or anything in mind as far as when we might be able to expect this at all? Or
so Neanderthal is part of it. That's the first release from the album. I'm also going to put the battle on there, which is already out, but I redid my mixing and mastering skills have improved. They continue to improve. So, I've just been releasing singles and EPs, and for this, it's still demo songs, but since I'm a writer, I can kind of make it into a full project, and I think it's going to be okay. Yeah. So there's going to be some old songs on there, remastered, remixed, and a lot of brand new songs too.
Nice, man. And we got the podcast, The Battle with Andrew Weber, and you can find that on your streaming platforms as well as YouTube. You get the full video there. And what do you see as far as this project? I mean, I know you started it maybe a year ago or so, close to it. I think in February or something like that. It seemed like you did 2 and then took a break.
I recorded 2. I think it was 21 maybe. And I ridiculously declared it as a comedy podcast, and I was young. I still am young, but I wasn't as developed as I am now mentally when I recorded those 2. So I stopped recording for a while, and I restarted the podcast again this year. Now it's all about personal development and just getting better. And I don't know how to change the category from comedy to like a personal development or education or lifestyle. So whatever. I guess maybe I'll try to throw in some jokes here and there.
Yeah. Well, it does seem like you've been a lot more consistent and committed to it lately. So we've been getting episodes a lot more frequently, regularly and stuff. So
episodes once a week.
Yeah. So what and is that just kind of? I mean, obviously, personal development and stuff like you said. But do you? Is that kind of just whatever you feel in that week, whatever kind of comes to mind, that the certain message that you think would be good to hone in on?
Yeah, so a lot of it is experiences that I'm currently going through.
Right.
I read books, I read the Bible, I listen to a ton of podcasts, I crush podcasts. So,
what are you listening to?
Man, anything. I've been into Huberman recently, Cam Haynes, always a Joe Rogan fan.
Yeah.
Just literally everything. Today I listened to Theo Vaughn.
Oh, yeah.
But I like to focus on, a good mix, because if I'm always working on personal development, it's easy to get burnt out. So I'll throw in a comedy podcast here and there. There is one podcast I want to recommend for the independent artists listening. It's called Independent, spelled out NDPNDNT, or however it would be. But that's a podcast by Nick D that is really cool. And that's kind of part of my strategy moving forward as a songwriter. So I'd highly recommend you listening to that. But all these resources that I take from, I apply to my own life. And then I can rewire how I applied what I learned into my own life, and as I go through my journey, I'm just kind of sharing my experiences with the audience. And just inside baseball, I started the podcast because I have a lot to talk about, and everything leads to the music, right? As a songwriter. So my hope is that you can connect what I'm talking about in my episodes to the songs that I write, and you can see how I've developed, throughout my journey. And my hope is just to help specifically young men develop maybe a little bit quicker in life. But I think men, women of all ages can learn something from just what someone else is going through,
Yeah, man. Well, very cool. Yeah, I've been having fun. I still got a couple to get through, but I've been listening and so yeah, keep it up, man. It's fun. Just anybody that's kind of the fun about podcasting, I think, is that you can literally do whatever. There are no rules to this, but whatever you're passionate about, you can grab a microphone and start talking and try to find an audience. So I've been doing, May will be 10 years I've been doing this show, and I had no idea what I was doing when we hit. I was listening to a few. I'm big into the comedy ones, and that's where it kind of started for me. Like some of these guys I was seeing at the Funny Bone, and then it was one of those things at the time. Like we had your iPods and stuff, and I always see podcast on there, but I didn't really know what to do, and anyway, I met Jay Larson at Funny Bone, and he said, check out my podcast, The Crab Feast. And I was like, okay, I like Jay, I'll check it out. And I got hooked and started they were putting out episodes every Tuesday, and started listening all the time, getting, it made me excited to listen every Tuesday. Had a lot of time with my headphones at work at the time. So, and then that introduced me to a bunch of other shows and so on. And so then my buddy Chris one day was like, anybody want to do a show? And I'm like, yeah, that could be cool. And I got these friends in music, and boom, we hit the ground running, man. It's like, this show's kind of evolved over the time, but I'm glad to still be here doing it, man. It's fun the show has opened all kinds of doors personally for me, and allowed me to do things I never imagined. I've met some of the most incredible people. Most of them are still my great friends today. So, so I think that's the exciting thing, is like putting yourself out there and taking a chance and just being open to it, to seeing where this thing could go. It could be, you never know. It all started with an idea, so.
Yeah, you never know. And if there's a way that you can help other people with it too,
sure,
with something that you're interested in, that makes it even better. And we all appreciate what you're doing, highlighting
thanks,
the talent and the creatives in the area. I know I personally love it, and I hope we can all grow together in this, local community. I think there's so much potential here. I'm hesitant to move to like an Austin or a Nashville, because I think there is so much potential here, and I'm also, honestly afraid to leave home, if I'm being real. But but I think we can all do a lot here, and you're a big part of that.
Oh, thanks, man. I do think I believe in St. Louis music. I mean, that's why I continue to do this. But I do think you're tapping into it. Like, that we need more community. We have incredibly talented players, songwriters, studios, and we have all the things to be in Nashville or in Austin or whatever you want to say, in LA or whatever. Mm-hmm. We have all the components. We just need to work together to support each other.
Yeah, we got to draw that attention.
Right. Because we're still considered, flyover state for most people. So they, I think we have some really great venues around. There's so many opportunities to do stuff here in town. So and it's affordable living for independent artists, it's like compared to coast and stuff, and it's like, there's so many positives. We just need to, figure out how to get more people on board with what we're doing here. So, but along with all the music, speaking of some of that, but you saying something earlier off mic about maybe trying to get a group band together, maybe, and trying to do maybe some weekends and trying to spread the word around a little bit. Yeah.
So I'm working with a man named James Jones. He's a worship leader at Sunrise Church, who I've been getting involved with. He's going to be my bass player. I got a lead guitar that is working with another band at the moment, so I'm looking for potentially another filler piece on the lead. And then the only thing we really need right now is a consistent drummer. Looking for, either some pros who don't need to really rehearse that often, or we can have you come out, do a rehearsal, something like that. But I am actively looking for a drummer, and then we're also thinking about maybe like a pedal steel or a fiddle to make it a little bit more country for the covers.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Offer a lot of dynamics with that, adding some auxiliary players like that. So,
yeah.
But yeah, that'd be cool, man. That'd be fun to hear the full sound and bringing some of these songs to life like that, and getting out there, maybe shake some hands and make some new friends along the way, and never know where the right one lead you to that co-write, or that get in the room with the next big thing, whatever it might be. So
right.
I was kind of telling you little stories off mic, but I've got quite a few friends that have made the jump, going to Nashville and doing some really cool things, getting some co-writes and getting some artists to cut some of their songs. And, as a songwriter, like that's where you can start really making some money doing this thing. If you can get somebody, whatever, somebody cut one of your tunes and it runs it up the charts, it's like, and then it keeps growing from there. Everybody's like, oh, well, what's this guy? What's this? And I want to co-write with you too, and all these things. So it grows from there. I just think I look, obviously one of the greats to do it, but Chris Stapleton, man, like he worked at it for a long time, writing songs. It was always one of my favorite writers for a long time, even before he went out and started doing his own music. But he was every song on the radio for a while. There was a Chris Stapleton co-write, along with being in Steel Drivers and stuff, and he was doing Johnson Brothers, but nobody really knew. Those groups had a following, but it wasn't like what he's doing today. But
right,
and then like he comes out with that Traveler record as his debut album, and like everybody's like, what the who's this guy? And like, man, like he's took off. I was fortunate enough to see him in a small club called Firebird, with like about 400 people right as Traveler was hitting. I think it was like it was like right around that time. I don't know if you remember, but I feel like one of the moments like that changed his life was he went on those CMA awards with Justin Timberlake and did Tennessee Whiskey, and especially with Justin and everything, putting him on that massive scale. But I think that happened like either the week before or the week after, somewhere right around that show when I saw him. And I was like, I knew, like, even going into that show, it sold out. And I was like, this is never going to happen again. This guy's going to rocket to the top. And, so a long story to say, like, it all started with songwriting. The guy's like, I remember hearing a story with him saying that he learned that was a job. Like, the people got paid to do that. And he's like, okay, I'll do that. And just started writing songs, and how he's one of the greats to do it. So it's just, it's a lot of hard work. I'm sure you write a lot that you don't share, or what, it's like you never know when the next one, it might be the one that, somebody wants to cut it and make it a hit single. So
Yeah. I mean, as an independent, I honestly release pretty much almost everything that I write. You know, I don't care if it's bad. Someone could like it. Someone might want to cut it, you know? So I'll leave it at that. You're welcome to cut whatever.
All right. Yeah. Have you got into any of that at all? Trying to pitch it at all, or
I've pitched a little bit, but only one or two times.
Yeah.
But that is something I want to start working on independently, though. And part of that is, I mean, it's just like it was starting a business. It's hard to figure that out and get the ball rolling. But I just committed to this full time a couple months ago, so I got plenty of time to figure it out, and hopefully as I grow organically online too and playing local stuff, you know, word starts to spread, and it could just happen organically too.
Sure. Yeah, just keep knocking on doors, man.
Yeah,
make something happen. Well, you're already off to a great start. You know, it's fun to see a young guy that hustling and, you know, wanting to do better and get stronger and you know, keep doing this thing, whether, you know, your songwriting or your guitar playing and everything else, and like I said, stage performance, learning all these things that it takes, to polish it up. And, but, I think you're well on your way, man, doing some great things already. And, we're just getting warmed up with this thing. So, I'm excited to see where this takes you. And, I think it'd be fun to circle back, you know, keep up, come back and talk about the next batch of songs. And you know, especially if you get that project together and stuff, it'd be fun to catch up and do another one of these. But appreciate you taking some time to hang with me today, man. And again, get plugged in, andrewwebermusic.com with 1 B, and you got your pretty much all the socials are all that too. You can find Andrew there. You can hit subscribe and get plugged in for the podcast too, and follow along on his journey there. And then come see him live when he come to a town near you. Again, we got one date closing out the year at STL Throwdowns on December 30th. But yeah, man, it's been fun hanging, getting to know you a little better, and I really appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you. We all appreciate you, and if we don't, we should. But I know I do. I love what you're doing. I believe that you have you've grown a ton and you do a lot for the community, but I believe that there's even more growth. And like we were talking about earlier, it's a team effort. So listen, support, and let's work together. Let's grow this community. Shane, thank you so much. Great to meet you, man.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Bye, everybody.